Joining us once again on MSUEagles.com is the head football coach here at Morehead State, Matt Ballard. Coach, we always appreciate your time and you taking a few minutes to sit down and chat with us. We're in the, I guess, the final week of the spring season. I don't know where time has gone. It's flown by. You were just telling me you guys have had about 13 or 14 workouts to this point. You've been going at it pretty good 4 days a week. As you kind of look back on these previous 3 weeks, just what are some of your thoughts on how things have gone so far?
Well, first thought would be kind of like you mentioned, time flies and it goes by way too fast. You know, it seems like the 2 months for us that goes by the fastest is April because of spring ball, and then August, the month of two-a-days, you know, that type of thing. But I tell you what, we've had an outstanding spring practice thus far. As I was talking to the guys the other day, you know, what's been impressive is that we have taken a step forward every day, and we've made improvement and we've gotten better. Usually somewhere along the way, you usually have a day where you come out and you're not into it and you don't work very hard, or it's sloppy, or you know, you take a step back, or you really don't get better, but you just kind of hit a plateau or something like that, you know, and just didn't get a whole lot done. Well, guess what? That hasn't been us this spring. I mean, it's been extremely high tempo. I've been so pleased with our effort, the way our guys have worked and the way our guys have competed, and we have had an outstanding spring. We've been making a lot of progress and just very pleased with the effort that our young guys are giving, the way that they're competing, and the fun that we're having. Our live work has been very productive, and it's been putting our football team in situations, helping us to learn and grow in the areas that we need to get better in. So we've got one more hard work day. A lot of folks, the day before your spring game is just kind of t-shirts and shorts and just kind of go out there and goof around. Not us. You know, we got to toss the ball around some more. We got to pitch and catch, and we got to have some more fun and just polish some things up and come out and have a great time. And then come Sunday afternoon, then it's time to put it all together. So it's something we're looking forward to, and I think it's going to be an exciting, very competitive ball game.
The game of football is great for a lot of reasons. I think everybody would agree on that. I guess one drawback to the game when you're in the middle of a regular season, if you do suffer a loss, you have to wait a full week until you can get back on the field, and I know that can irritate coaches and players. I think the term that I used multiple times last year was heartbreaking losses. Your team was right there in the end so many times. I know you don't want to really revisit setbacks from the previous year, but the fact that maybe your team, at least from a record standpoint, kind of finished below where you had hoped to finish, has that made the guys a little more eager and a little more hungry to start over fresh and have a really good spring here?
I think so. I think where that really came into play was, you know, when you first jump into the off-season program, you know, with your lifting and just guys so determined, you know, and then the progress and the confidence that grows and is built during that, then that just kind of spills over into spring ball. And then, then that's kind of revisited that, you know, you came so close but yet so far away. And it does come down between one play or the final 17 seconds, you know. University of San Diego, that was champion of our league this past year, you know, we drop a ball in the end zone, we catch that, it's our ball game. Next play they kick a field goal with 17 seconds left to beat us. The Davidson ball game, we convert the first down, we take a knee, we come home with a victory, and then less than a minute then we come up short again. So those things do stick in your craw a little bit. You know, we're kind of like elephants. You do have pretty good memory, and it's hard to shake that stuff, you know, and so that's fuel for your fire, but everything has to be present, has to be ongoing and going forward. You cannot keep your eyeballs or even your mindset back in the past. If you do, you are going to stumble and fall, but I think that's something that does propel you and forces you to work and move forward, and our guys just love to compete. And they're hungry. That makes you more determined, and you're hungry, and you don't want to come up short this time. You know, you want to exhaust every ounce and fiber that you got in your energy and in your body to go out there and try to find little ways that you can be more efficient, that you can be better. It's like our guys, you know, you're second in the nation in throwing the football. That sticks in your craw. We want to be first. We want to be the best. We want to be the best at everything that we do. So I think that kind of sets the stage for how we practice out here in the afternoon. There's not another football team in the country that practices at the pace and the tempo that we do. And again, that's a credit to our young men, how much they love this game of football and how much they enjoy working with one another and competing. And if you do that and you stick with it, that's the key. You got to stick with it. Let me tell you what, you're going to grow by leaps and bounds, and you're going to get a lot better.
From a statistical standpoint, your offensive unit had an outstanding 2011 season. I don't think anybody would question or doubt that. Just give us a few highlights of the offense here in spring ball and how things have gone for you guys from that perspective.
I think, when you see a great brand on the shelf and it says new and improved, and they maybe just tweaked it a little bit, but it is a little bit better. That would probably apply to our offense right now, new and improved. We've just tried to be sharper with everything, more efficient with everything. When guys have the no-huddle system down pat, they know it upside and down backwards and confidence, and it's just second nature to them. And then you just get that much better in your skill set, your fundamentals, your techniques. You're bigger, stronger, you're more confident. Then guess what? The end result should be you are sharper, you are more efficient, you are executing better, and you're better at what you do. So I just think that we've been more efficient in the passing game. I think our run game is ahead of the schedule where we want it to be or had hoped for it to be, because when you lose somebody like Desmond Cox, you wonder, okay, what we're going to do here. We know we got a committee of guys, but is there that go-to guy? Who's that big play guy? Who can really make something happen for us? And voila, Reese McSherry steps in there. You saw flashes of what he could do a year ago, but let me tell you what, he's had an outstanding spring practice, and it's amazing. I mean, he makes more guys miss between the tackles than I think anybody that I've ever seen. And then when he gets out in the open, whether it's run the ball or you throw it to him underneath or in the screen game, the first 2 or 3 guys are not going to tackle this guy. He just has a knack of making people miss him, and he's just a very fun guy to watch. So I think that brings more balance and more of an effective running game to us. Greg Lewis has really stepped up there from that manner. But as we talk about the pass game and as we talk about the run game, the reason that we have been more productive is the guys up front and how much that they have improved and the consistency of our play. I think we're more physical up front, and I think we're more consistent. And that's with putting in a new scheme with pass protection and with fundamentals and techniques. That was an area that we were very concerned about. And I tell you what, Coach McCutcheon and Coach Rude have done an amazing job with these guys. They've bought into it. They've picked it up. They're really making progress, and they're on the right track. We still got a long way to go, but we're definitely on the right track.
Matt Ballard, the head football coach here at Morehead State, visiting with us today on MSUEagles.com. And Coach, I know you want to see some improvement on the defensive side of the ball, but I was speaking with one of your defensive assistant coaches earlier today, and they talked about some good overall athleticism of the group. They talked about possibly some new schemes that'll be used this coming year. Obviously lose a couple key players up front, both on the D-line and the linebacking core, but just your thoughts on the defense as you've looked back here on the last 3 weeks and moving forward as well.
Well, I tell you what, I think it's one of the more pleasing things of spring practice, and that's probably where the greatest effort has been given, and on a consistent basis. I just really like how hard we're playing, the way our guys are flying around. 2 guys that probably really jump out at you is Justin Hendricks, that's at linebacker, and then up on that defensive line there a little bit. I mean, this guy's motor is running full throttle, wide open, every second of every play. And that spills over to the rest of your defense, and he's really making some nice plays in our run game and in our pass game. And then I don't know if I should say it's a surprise, but when you look at Michael Jackson back in that secondary and the plays that he's making, you can just, he's like a flower blooming right before your eyes. Just his confidence growing. He's so athletic. He's gotten stronger, and you just see his confidence getting better and better and better. And because of that, then he just keeps making more plays every day and every play. And right now, now this will be a pretty bold statement, but my opinion, I think he's the best player on the field right now. this guy can really be special. And that's a pretty bold statement. And this guy's just a freshman, you know. And, you know, we need that back there. You know, I had flashbacks of Charlie Bird this past week, you know, as a 3-time All-American for us. He kind of reminds you of him a little bit, but he's probably more athletic. And that's a pretty bold statement. So, you know, we've given up some things at times and still are because we're young up front and lack depth at the linebacker core and the defensive line. But here's the thing I like about this group. This is what's happened out here in spring practice. When it's been third and short or 4th and 1, when it's gotten down into the red zone, these guys have stepped up and made a play, and they've stopped us, you know, and that's great stuff. You know, they're better. That makes us better. And I've said forever, and I'll say for as long as I ever coach, I could care less what happens between the 20s, 3rd down, red zone, goal line, who steps up, who makes the play. That's the difference in ball games. So we've really put a big emphasis on that with red zone and goal line and special situations. And right now our guys are playing wide open and making some plays for us.
Certainly don't want to leave out the special teams. We talked last season how important field position is, both offensively and defensively. You had some reliable guys last year, and I know there were some areas that you want to continue to improve on, whether we're talking about the kicking game, kickoff returns, punt returns, coverage units, what have you. What kinds of things have you guys been doing from a special team standpoint here recently?
Well, we've still been working on all of them. You know, some people don't do any special teams at all, you know, in the spring, or they just give it a little token time and that type of thing. But every phase of our special teams, we have worked the basics and the fundamentals of that each and every day. All of our specialties, I mean, that's every day. I'm probably the luckiest coach in America that I have Rainer Duzan, and he's quite a weapon, and he's new and improved as well. It's like, how can this guy get any better? And he has, because he's a competitor. He's a worker. He takes great pride in his fundamentals and techniques, and he is not satisfied where he's at. So when you have a guy like that, and you have a guy like Zach Lewis that's not satisfied where they're at personally, then that does what? That pulls up in your whole football team, their level of play just kind of follows suit there a little bit. But anytime you cross, I'll say the 40-yard line now, you better guard against the field goal, because he's going to put it up through the uprights if that's what we need. The one thing that we're very excited about in the kicking game is a prize recruit that I still can't or shouldn't mention the name there, but it's a young man that we feel like that he's going to be able to handle and take over our punting chores, where it allows Rainer just to concentrate on the kicking part of it.
Okay.
That is sure give him a great break in his hip and his legs and that type of thing, and should make him even better from that standpoint.
Yeah, you had Rainer doing a little bit of everything last year, and your offense is putting up 49 and 56 points, and he was pretty busy on the field.
We still hope he's a busy guy and continues to rewrite records in that book for sure.
And if he's only kicking field goals and not punting, then he can be as busy as he wants to be, right?
Absolutely.
Final comment from you, Coach. We're speaking with Matt Ballard, the longtime head football coach here at Morehead State. I know you're real excited about this Sunday, the annual spring game here at Jayne Stadium. Could be a wonderful doubleheader for MSU fans. The baseball team will be wrapping up a 3-game series with rival Eastern Kentucky, just a few yards away over here at Allen Field. And then the football guys get on the turf at 4:30. I know it's going to be kind of a non-traditional approach. It's going to be more of a workout style and not a 15-minute quarters, 1st and 10 type of game. But for those coming out this Sunday, and we hope certainly people do, free admission here at Jayne Stadium, just a couple quick tidbits on what people can expect from your spring game and the way you're gonna set it up.
Absolutely. The first thing jumps out at you is in the past, most years, we have divided up the team by an NFL draft, by our players, but we felt like that with our depth and with our units, it was more important this year to keep our offensive and defensive units intact, so that we've been so consistent and we've been productive. Then we wanted to finish up on that note, instead of splitting your lines up and different guys that they haven't been used to playing beside as much. So our offensive and defensive units will remain intact, our first unit and our second unit and our third unit. And basically what we'll do, we'll go 1s versus 1s and 2s versus 2s and that type of thing, and then our 3s versus 3s, and the rest of the guys will kind of mix them in there. We will still have the clock. It will be a regulation first half, but what will happen is, for example, ones will go versus ones. We'll put on the minus 25-yard line, and if they can drive it all the way down the field and score, then that's that drive. If our defense stops them after a few plays or whatever, they go off the field. We take a quick 2-minute break to get everybody regrouped, and then the twos come out, and twos versus twos will go out. So each series we have a different starting point out there in the field to make sure we're getting reps in all the field positions. Where it's coming out, we're going to have the guys backed up against the goal line down there. We'll have them going in from the red zone, etc. And then the other thing that's unique about this, when you're playing yourself, but to give more emphasis and to show people and show our guys how important it is, just the regular every down plays that you're making defensively. We have a scoring system set up for defense and offense. Now the regular scores will remain the same. Field goal, touchdown, PAT, or 2-point conversions, the point values you get for those you'll get those just like you always have. But for example, offensively, if we get more than 2 first downs, meaning multiple first downs, 3 or more, then they'll get a point for that. If we get a run or a pass over 20, then they get a point for that. So that's a more scoring from an offensive standpoint. Defense, the conventional stuff, yes, they can intercept the ball. Interception or turnover, fumble recovery, that's 4 points.
Okay.
They get a quarterback sack, then that's a point, or 2 points, I should say, for the defense. We have placed special emphasis on 3rd and short and 4th down. So if we 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, if the defense stops us, the offense, then they get 2 points. If offense makes it, then they get 1 point. So the defensive points will be tallied throughout. The offensive tallies won't be tallied until after the drive is finished, because we won't stack the points, so to speak. Because if you had a long run and a long pass and then scored a touchdown, that would put it out of whack there. You would just get the points for the touchdown. But it's a lot of fun. We used the scoring system last year. We have used this scoring system a few other times. What was interesting about last year's spring game, it came down to the very last series. If the defense would have stopped them, then that would have caused a tie ball game, and we would have gone into overtime. We do have an overtime rule set up. If in the event that this one end up in overtime, you put on the 10-yard line, you get 4 plays, and you decide the winner right there. If offense scores, they win it. If the defense stops them and gets a turnover, they win it. So even though it's not a split group, meaning with the draft, offense and defense, hey, you're in game uniforms. It's the final one. The fur's going to be flying, and our guys are going to be really excited.
It's great.
It's going to be very competitive. It's going to be a lot of fun. The neat thing about, from a broadcast standpoint, of course, Chuck and crew's going to be upstairs. We're going to have 2 field reporters. They're going to be interviewing coaches and players down the field. They're going to be sticking the mic in the timeout huddles and all kind of different things to kind of give people an inside look of the inside part of MSU football, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Be kind of the all-access perspective if you're able to tune in via radio, and MSUEagles.com will have the internet broadcast as well. I guess the best of both worlds, bring your portable radio to Jayne Stadium, and it can be like watching an auto race. You can have all the inside info.
What are they saying? You bring your radio, you can be tuned in just like NASCAR, right? Yeah, hey, that's a good idea,
there you go.
man.
There you go. We'll have to encourage people to do that. Again, Jay Sorg and the Baseball Eagles will open the day 1 o'clock, wrapping up with Eastern Kentucky, and then Matt Ballard, his staff, and the Football Eagles hit the turf at 4:30 here at Jayne Stadium this Sunday, the 29th of April. Best thing about it, admission is free to the football game, and we hope to see all of you out here. Coach, thanks as always for your time. We'll check in with you after the spring game and chat with you more about the summer, and then get into some fall stuff as well.
Sounds like a winner. Thank you.
Thanks.